All righty. Hello again. All right, we're going to try to pull a card. I'll try not to take too long. I have to wait till it tells me to pull it.
So it's really not you taking long. It's just you where it's taking long.
Exactly.
It's like the claw machine.
I am fake.
There we go. Vision Quest.
The Vision Quest.
Ooh, good one.
What's the number on that?
The number is 60. Look at the big full moon. Or sun, whatever that is.
Is it like a dancer? Is it a fairy?
Could be.
It looks like I'm thinking. Made me think of the movie Flashdance.
Me too. Me, that's exactly what I thought of when she was in the water.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's a dancer.
Like a John Travolta.
Yeah. Yeah, and the arrow is the bottom. So that we didn't have the arrow. We had the blade, didn't we, last time? Yeah. So Vision Quest. So we'll see how that one comes to us during this. I have a feeling it always does come through. All right, let's play.
All right. Okay. We've been talking. I mean, I don't know what's going to come out of this. I know what I wrote, but I don't know what else is going to come out of this. But we've been talking this week, and so many things are in flux, in change. The things that we've been talking about, it just, just like being on the precipice, being on the cusp, it's because we've been talking about, well, it's almost here for the last year. But now things have it's almost like everything just all of a sudden got blown away, and now a whole new set of things are now already here. So I told her last night, it's already happening. The beings that I connect with, all the stuff, as long as we've been doing these videos, even as far back when we were doing it with Sheila and Lisa, I was getting flashbacks of all those dreams and everything, and I was going further with each one. And it was, I was getting the indication that they're already acting as if they're already in it. They're already doing what they're going to do for us. They're already doing it. They have stuff that they have to kick off. All we are is, we're basically passengers.
Well, I like the way you said it yesterday. We were talking about this. It's like if we're on a train track and miles ahead there's a tunnel and there's train cars or whatever in that tunnel, they're going to be in the tunnel while we're still back here on the track. And so they're already in it. They've already gone into that, and it's just hasn't reached us, or we haven't in that time haven't reached it yet.
Yeah, and last night I went in the tunnel. It was completely void of everything but train tracks. That's it.
Interesting.
Nothing else. Because I told her that we were like the human species have been like on a set of tracks, main tracks, and just recently the switching yard, something switched, and we got off on a parallel track to the main tracks, and we have been on the parallel tracks for some time, and now it's veering away towards a tunnel. And when I was talking to her yesterday evening, I couldn't see into the tunnel. Last night I saw into the tunnel, and it was like a set of tracks going into the tunnel, in the tunnel, and coming out the other side. And inside the tunnel, it was just devoid. It was just train tracks. That's it. But I could see on the other side. I couldn't see exactly what was on the side, but it was so much brighter, so much more vibrant. And that's what we're headed to, but we've got to get through the tunnel.
Yeah, that harkens back to, that made me think of the cave. I felt like it was a cave. Could see the light on the other side, but I hadn't stepped through yet. So, but you can see and feel the energy from the other side of it coming into, but we haven't emerged from it yet.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
It's very similar. I think it's just different analogies. But I also, we were talking about changes too, and it's changing. I don't know if you've run into this too, Jenny, but people, I mean, the emotions and the things coming up for people, and it being really present, and like you can't hide things anymore, so it's been interesting in the various dialogues I've had this week, and it's also been interesting for me walking in that as a centered point, as what kept coming today was as a middle way. You've got things on this side, these things on this side, and they're whipping around. But if you're taking care, and we've done so much work ourselves to stay in that center way, then those people can like dissipate their energy without it really overly affecting you. And it unwinds it a little bit for them, so that hopefully then they can like find their way out of that.
I resonate with that completely, like totally, because I used to feel like, I have to hide now because it's going to be scary and people are going to go crazy. And now I'm like, no, I can stand here and be kind and let it happen, but not let it affect me, and still continue to do what I'm doing because I'm being spirit led and centered. So it's been a shift for me personally, for sure, because I'm one who would want to go hide because I don't like having to feel the emotions or see it or be like, everybody's mad now, or all that kind of stuff. But I feel that completely. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so the conversation I had with somebody yesterday, it was really clear for me, the way showers, why we're going through these things early, because as the ones are coming online right now, it's going to feel like chaos for them, but it felt so centered for me. I wasn't chaotic at all. And so it was after I walked out of each time I walk away from it, I'd be reflecting on it, going, wow, that was really interesting, because it was no hook into my being that would spin me off into a direction. So it kind of gave me a little taste of what's unfolding, and kind of what the role is that we are, and why we've been shown this early in a way. Yeah.
Well, we're coming to a time when anyone who's been following any of the alt media, the spirit side, the star seeds and whatnot, there are plenty of us that are who may have some doubt about our own situations and about how far along we are or we're not, or whatever. But we're coming to a time when we're going to be exposed to the masses, and it's then we're going to realize how far ahead we are. All of us. Doesn't matter how, even if you're just, you don't seem like, compared to all your friends, you don't seem as far. You are still going to be loads and loads past where the masses are. Because most of them have not been doing what we've been doing. It's not the content that matters. It's the search. Most of them have not been searching. They've been dealing with status quo day in and day out. And now whatever prompted us was under more tranquil times compared to what they're going to be going through when they go through it. It's going to feel traumatic compared to what the times have been for us while we have been awakening. And it's then that we're going to realize, oh, wow, these people need, it's not doing things for them. It's being a calm, steadying presence more than anything. If you feel compelled to do something, then do it. But everything has karma attached to it or repercussions. So I think we're closer to our higher selves. And I think when they start searching for us, they may not know that's what they're going to be doing. They're not directly searching for us, but they're looking for a calming presence. We are going to be able to access our higher self and know, oh, don't do that. Yeah, normally I would go do this. Don't do that, because that's not really being a good aid worker. You just be setting them up to become attached to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been definitely learning how to do that for the last year in several different lessons, like learning how to be a kind, calm, non-emotional person in the eye of major projections that don't have anything to do with me, but I have somehow triggered. And where I wanted to run away because it just feels crappy when you're not prepared for it, and when you don't understand. But now I feel like I can really handle it because I just want to show them not love when they don't need love, but just be a loving presence in the face of their chaos.
Yeah. Just remember that the way you've gone about this to where you are right now is just one perspective. That's it.
Yeah.
It is not the one and only perspective for people to follow.
Nope.
But your calm in explaining how you got where you got is more important than the details of each step you took to get where you got. Because the circumstances are going to be completely different for them
100%.
than it was for us while we've been going through this.
Yeah. And people are starting to come out of the hiding with their gifts too, because in conversations this week, I found out somebody that I work with that, can see auras and read palm reading.
Oh, very cool.
Somebody else that numerology and things that we have not talked about previously. So
people you didn't know that are awake, you're gonna there's no going to be no more hiding amongst the starseeds.
Right. Yeah. So it's like the conversations are there, and people are now not afraid to start talking about it, and it's going to be, so that's your network, that's your network, and you'll work as a grid around people that are doing the chaos to try to give the energy somewhere to ground out, so that things can be released and transmuted. So yeah, it's really interesting. It's happening now. I mean, it's very prevalent. In fact, many are asking questions about, they're saying, asking me, what are the planets doing right now? Because people around me are a little bit crazy. So it's very interesting. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So get to the list. The first item is free will. Fire at will.
What it will do.
Yeah. So it's free will, fire at will. Things are coming out that will free your will or seem to fire at your will. Be careful with your evaluation. Your attachments are what's under attack. So no matter how bad you think when these things start coming out, no matter how bad it makes you feel, the masses are going to feel worse because they're more attached to it. We may still be somewhat attached to it. The reason why you're feeling it when it starts to come out is for you to see your what attachments you still have.
Mm-hmm.
We've had this time to deal with our attachments. Have we all dealt with our attachments? Some, but not all of them.
Mm-mm.
The remaining ones will be called out. It's not that you need to shun them. It's where those things, how you've attached to them. Are they making you stronger, or are they making you weaker?
Yeah, like an understanding of what they're doing to your journey, or what they are as a part of your lesson and your plan, or what's going on.
Right. So it may not be you need to get rid of it. It's more likely you need to shuffle the chairs. You need to shuffle around and get it reorganized so that it can be a strength and not a weakness.
I've done that with my feelings for my children, and what is the attachment for? Like, I've been doing a lot about that with my kids, and how to have a healthy love with them and not be attached to certain outcomes and things like that. Because that's a difficult one to navigate when you're going through spiritual awakening with your kids.
Yeah,
right, but it is the most important ones.
Right. Yeah, it's completely.
Are the ones we're going to put off till last. Mm-hmm. And now universe is saying, you could have done it sooner, but we understand sometimes it needs to be right in your face before you do anything. Well, now it's all these things are going to be pretty much in your face.
Well, like my 11-year-old today, Charlotte, she's a little warrior, and I know that I'm here to help her. We've had many lifetimes together, and she told me today, she said that she had a vision or a dream or whatever, that she and I had been sisters in a past life, and our parents got divorced, and that she and I stuck together and were really, really close through it. Mm-hmm. And it's just the insightful things about her mouth. So that just told me that clearly we're all here. I mean, they're here with me to do something, and I'm here to teach them how to be these little warrior star seeds that they are, and show them by me being my best self in an unattached, loving way, and trying to help them be the same in their own way.
Yeah, in a previous life, you might have been her daughter.
Mm-hmm. Right. I'm sure. I think she was all of our mothers, actually. The personality she had. Yeah.
So, but right now, through all of those previous lifetimes and you guys shuffling around, your daughter might have been your son at another.
Right.
Or
my husband or something, which is crazy to think about.
Crazy, and then through all of that shuffling, you all decided what role you were going to play in the final. Mm-hmm. Going into this time right now.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I got chills with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely. It to me, the perspective I'm trying to maintain based on what I've been getting, whether I talk about it in a video or not, is be the observer. If something provokes me and I start to get it does actually pull something from me, try to pause and quit worried about the thing and worry about and focus on my reaction and say, where's that coming from? Because that pause is going to give you energy. It's going to give you the ability to take it, the power of it, and use it the way you want, not the way the system provokes you. Mm-hmm. That's what all this is about, is be the best observer you can be while shining your light. So how you go about doing that is up to you. There is no right answer. It's everyone's gone, you're on your own, now it's up to you. I mean, that's kind of the attitude that seems to be the best, because you're not worried about someone coming in and saving you, or someone going to do something for you. It's you're going to take care of what you need to take care of. You're not going to just put it off or whatnot. It's time. You are watching you. Mm-hmm. So the next one is your choice. Eyes wide open or comfortably numb. The time of the unveiling has come.
That's a song, Comfortably Numb.
Pink Floyd. Well, Eyes Wide Open is another
There's a
one.
movie too.
Well, I changed it from Eyes Wide Shut to Eyes Wide Open, but we all have a choice in dealing with what's coming. I believe most of the starseeds are going to try to deal with this with eyes wide open. I'm not going to say all of them will do it. Some of them will decide not to take it all on, and they will go the comfortably numb route. And there's no shame in that, and there's nothing wrong with that. The majority of people are at some point going to choose the comfortably numb route. How far they go is up to them. That's how the longer they can stay with it with their eyes open, the more learning and experience they will go through, and it will serve them when we come out the other side.
I don't know if I feel like I wanted to be able to be comfortably numb for so long, but I was so uncomfortably numb that I couldn't be numb. You know what I mean? Like I had to, it's like I felt like I wanted that kind of life, but then I couldn't. It was so unhappy for me. What everybody else would maybe think was happy was really unhappy for me. But as I needed to, even when I was like a small child, I needed to be constantly growing or learning or evolving or wanting stuff. But I didn't realize that until now, that that's what I've been my whole life, you know, until I started to wake up, that it was always part of the plan, like being new age as a small child, wanting to go into the bookstore and look at occult stuff, you know, and everybody thinking I was crazy or creepy or Satanist, you know, all my church going friends and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, tendencies are good. It tells you of your trajectory, your own patterns with what really makes up you. When you get rid of all the 3D stuff and look at just the pattern of how you operate, that says something about you. The things that typically, not the specific things, but the gist of it, those things tell you something. The things that you're attracted to, the things that you're not attracted to, the kind of challenges you attract, the kind of things you push away from. These all say something about the way you like to deal with things. This is law of attraction, things that you attract to you. In the past, this is all from memory, and memory is subject to change. At any given now moment, you have the choice to go comfortably numb. So keep that in mind. Just because you didn't do it before doesn't mean you won't do it now. You have that choice, and you can do it with no judgment. Because once we come out the other side, we as a species are going to be completely different.
I think I'm more referring to like wanting to wake up than be comfortably numb. You know, like wanting to stay asleep, I guess, or stay normal, you know, more than being comfortably numb, what you're referring to. Yeah,
but you always have the choice of either or. You always,
every month.
So you may not have chosen it the last time or yesterday or a week ago, but you can choose it tomorrow. You choose to go comfortably numb. It depends. You may not know what you're going to do tomorrow when you're confronted by one of your attachments, and it's now no longer the choice that you can put it off. We're all in that boat. Once we realize that, we're going to come together. For a while, we're not all realizing that. So until we do come to that realization and we realize we're pretty much all in the same boat, it's just the backdrop that's slightly different because your reality isn't my reality. But really, it is. It's just, oh, I decipher that as a problem with my home mortgage, and now the bank is calling, and this and that. Whereas you see it as your job. Your job is now you're in danger of losing your job. It's all the same thing.
It's all the same energy.
Yeah. So it's a matter of
like the details of whatever the situation.
Well, it's like in Navy SEAL training. They don't make people stay there. You have a choice at any time. You can go ring what they call ring the bell. So at any day, any time of the day, you could say, I've had enough, and go ring the bell. And until you ring that bell, you're in the program. As soon as you ring that bell, you're out. And it's volunteer. That's what this all is. It's volunteer. No one's going to make you stay eyes wide open. You stay eyes wide open as long as you can until you're ready to go. I'm ready to go comfortably numb.
Yeah.
And there's no shame in it. It's a matter of what you're giving up is saying, I've reached the max on what I feel like I can handle. So I'm going to postpone learning these things through these, what I can see, I guess I would say, rocky times. And you'll understand why I say that. And I'll pick this up later when I get my feet back underneath me.
I do that sometimes now, yeah.
But now it's for keeps. Now, I mean, keeps until it's like we're all, like I said, the Navy SEALs. Once they ring that bell, they can't go back in. So once you ring the bell, your demeanor, your consciousness will recede to a level that allows you to not be amped up. You go kind of in a protection mode, but it's not protecting against survival. It's basically saying, I'm just going to take a hallucinogen for the rest of the time. Whether it's DMT or marijuana or whatever, you're basically saying, I'm not going to face this anymore. I'm going to tone down the volume so that I can find a level that is more comforting, instead of being uncomfortable and saying, I welcome the uncomfortable so that I can learn. There are plenty of people who say, I want to learn, I want to learn, I want to learn. And that's great. But a lot of those people are fair weather learners. This is the time, and this was always going to be the case, when the storm comes, that's when you learn the most in the shortest amount of time.
Well, we're also coming from a generation of people who don't know how to go through a storm. You know what I mean? Because they had an umbrella over them, held over them their whole life. So it's going to be much more difficult than it would have been many generations ago because of that fact. And
it's your choice. You choose. You can tone it down, or you can say, no, I need this. I need to know. I need to know what my limits are. I need to know how determined I am to get through this. I need to know if I'm meant for this level or this level. It's not like this one's better than that one. It's finding out your true makeup, what you're really made of.
Right.
It's part of knowing yourself.
Yeah, it's learning
yourself, who you are.
Yeah.
where you are in your development path, and not comparing one to the other. One's better.
Right.
Said it's not no judgment as such. It's just up to you. Nobody's going to tell you, what to do. Nobody's going to like save you. It's really up to you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. The next one is truth disguised as accidents. Did I say that out loud? I didn't mean for that to get out. Dropping the other shoe. This is actually already underway.
Oh,
this is how disclosure happens.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you may have heard about the Project Veritas
Video.
whistleblower about the ABC news anchor Robin.
I don't remember.
I forgot her last name. And she was on a hot mic. She was being recorded, but it wasn't for TV. They were, she was talking to, I think, producer or whatnot, explaining, because this was back when the Epstein story broke. And she was saying, I had the story. She had been covering it for the last 3 years. She had the story 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And ABC News got pressure from what she said called the Palace and others.
Wow.
She mentioned the Palace. She was talking about Prince Andrew, so you can imagine who the Palace is. She talked about the Clintons.
Mm-hmm.
And talked about Gershowitz.
Yeah,
Gershowitz.
The attorney.
The attorney. So if you're curious about that, look it up. It's out there. And it wasn't supposed to be released. That's how the truth is getting out. And expect many more of these.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she was mad because she didn't get the break on the story.
Yeah, she wasn't mad because she was talking the way she described Epstein is the most prolific pedophile in all of history. Mm. And she had the story for 3 years. And she was pissed because someone else got the news.
Scooped her.
She wasn't worried about all the women and all the kids that had gotten abused. She was worried about her not getting the fame for it.
Yeah, that's what it came across, definitely.
So that's the beginning of really getting the word out there about what's been going on.
Mm-hmm. Plus, I think that links a little bit back to what we were talking about earlier, which is things can't be hidden. You're going to be able to completely see the emotions and information and things like that. Yeah,
I got that.
Okay.
Right here. The next one is the Avalanche of Lies Betrays Their Secrets. This matrix has been stood up by a mountain of lies that can't stand any more weight, just waiting for that one rock to slip. Mm. This avalanche cares nothing for your feelings, but it will provoke them. Mm-hmm. That's what's getting ready to happen. They've built up this matrix to favor them at our expense. We let them, so at some point we're going to have to forgive them, but it is so top heavy that it can't stand any more strain. And now it's already started. And so the avalanche is already in the works. We just can't see it yet because we're somewhere down the mountain. We haven't picked up that there's an avalanche headed our way.
Maybe that's why we have to get in the tunnel so we can protect ourselves from all the falling rocks.
Maybe. Yeah. The next one is beware falling rocks. Stay clear.
Yeah.
Some of the rocks will have your name on them. Do you try to catch them or let them fall? You can't argue with a falling mountain, so why try?
Yeah.
Some of these rocks are going to have your name on them. They're going to provoke you. People are going to be discussing them or whatever, and you may not even know why a particular conversation about a particular news story that broke or someone's opinion about Trump or this or that provokes you. And you may get drawn into it and allow yourself to get ramped up and whatever, and that's your free will to do that. But I choose, if that starts to happen, to pause and say, why is that happening? What is this tied to? What do I need to alleviate that? The reason these are coming up is so that you can do just that, so that you can transmute them.
Yeah, because it's really inside of us. Whatever's triggering us on the outside. So if you can figure out why that is triggering you, it'll show you what's inside of you that's still there. Release, yeah. Because it doesn't really matter. It's kind of like we were talking about the energies before. One person sees it as their job, one person sees it as their mortgage or whatever. It's the same thing. It's just that mask it's wearing is whatever's triggering you. But uncovering that mask shows you really what's, and it's something inside of yourself.
Right.
Yeah, everything going on outside and around you is just a backdrop to what's going on inside you.
Right.
The most important thing is what's going on inside you.
Right.
The outside things are meant to check with you to find out, hey, where are you with this? Hey, where are you with this? Where are you with this? Where are you with this? If you get provoked, it's up to you to figure out what to do with it. Some people, they lose their mind. They get provoked and they, boom. And that's programming, and you have a right to do that. But are you being you, or are you being used?
Yeah, I think of them like probes. It's a probe, and to see if something's still in there, Is there something in there?
I don't want to get probed. No. Say no to probed.
Oh my God.
Energetic probe.
Yes. I don't want an energetic probe either.
Okay.
That's a losing conversation.
No probes at all. We'll just go.
Probeless. I want the probeless future. So I'm going to have a shirt that says going probeless.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Have you been probed today?
Oh, probe warning. Oh my God.
Gosh.
You probably don't know this. All right, we're just being silly.
Yeah.
This is an energy release.
That's right.
We're playing. This is the kind of thing. Don't be surprised when the avalanche starts to hit, that these kind of things happen. You get silly. That's good. You're releasing the energy in a lighthearted manner. This is what we need to let it go, to just say, I'm going to let this wash over me. And I prefer to laugh it off instead of getting probed.
Laughter is the best medicine. Yeah. It really is.
It really is. Yeah. All right. So the next one is the dust settles in time. We all have a road to follow through rocky times. Will you bemoan the loss of the mountain or savor all the new construction material?
Mm-hmm.
We are all, whether you want to admit it or not, we are all attached to the mountain.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
In some way, shape, or form,
Yes.
we are attached to it, either through our family, through our education, through friends and other groups and other things you've done, or how you built your career, how you think you got where you got where you are now.
Yeah.
All of that, we were programmed to behave certain ways. There's nothing wrong with that. We came here to go through, to lose our memory and to give up our free will so that we could get something in return. Well, up to now, it seems like, whoa, this has been a really unbalanced contract. What have I really gotten? Well, the good stuff is getting ready to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But do you want to have your eyes wide open when it happens? Or do you want to just go comfortably numb and wake up with your prize?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I definitely got benefits out of this lifetime because I've had so many good, amazing, loving, fun experiences. And I feel like I picked it knowing it was going to be the final. I was like, fit a bunch of fun stuff in too. Because there are definitely perks. I mean, now that I look back on it, it's been amazing to be able to have experiences with certain people in my life. And it just, I don't know, I the way that I look at it now, knowing what I know, it just feels differently. It feels like I'm just grateful for it. It was exciting to me. Even some of the bad stuff, it's like I got to deal with it. I got to know it. I got to know what it means and feels like.
Well, that's a very healthy way of looking at it. Mm-hmm. But how do I know that you know that the best is yet to come? Because you're still here. Mm-hmm. You're still here and you're still wanting to learn. Mm-hmm. If you were here and you were like, I'm done. I'm done.
Right.
Then I would say, okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think you're done. Mm-hmm. But you're not saying that. You're saying, I want to learn. I want to have my eyes wide open. That tells me the best is yet to come.
Mm-hmm. What it made me think of, too, when you said that last time was if you're on this huge roller coaster or this huge ride that it's going to be harrowing in some places, fast in some places. You don't know what the track looks like. You can either get a sleeping pill before you start the ride and ride through, or you can say, I'm going to sit in the back with my arms in the air and ride.
Yeah.
So it's two different ways. You still get through the ride. Everybody still makes it safely through the ride, but your experience is so vastly different if you're like experiencing it versus the, comfortably numb, asleep.
Yeah. My perspective only, the way I've been approaching what motivates me to deal with my own crap and get all my attachments and face things and not just go the numb route is that I believe that there is no one else out there evaluating me but me. Mm-hmm. So when we get through all this crap and we come out the other side, I'm going to feel justified. I'm going to feel justified in elevating myself to this position versus this position because I went comfortably numb here. Mm-hmm. No one's going to do it to you. It's you. You know what's right and you know what's wrong. Yeah. And when you come out the other side, depending on how you dealt with the intervening trip to get there, you're going to know what feels justified and what doesn't.
Yeah. Right now, that justification is twisted, and that's around self-worth and stuff like that. Other people have manipulated our belief in what that is. But on the other side, it's going to all be you. No. Mm-hmm.
The sovereign you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That you don't pass judgment on yourself, but you see with clarity. Mm-hmm. You know when you're standing on a 6 and not, a 4 or an 8. You're going to be, everyone's going to be more transparent and more honest with themselves and therefore with other people. And there's going to be no more political correctness and any of that, because that brainwashing and that programming will have, that's what we're escaping.
Yes.
That's when I say comfortably numb or eyes wide open, it's the shucking of the programming. It's not for everyone to do eyes wide open. Not everyone's meant to do it. A lot of people's mission doesn't kick in until they wake up on the other side.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You can't tell someone, oh, you need to wake up. You need to whatever their mission is.
Right.
So we're barely just starting to get an idea of what our own missions are.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But you're not going to know until you're facing things and it's stormy. You don't really find out that much when the weather's good. You find out more when the weather's bad. And that's why we've got to go through this, I guess, relatively bad weather to figure out what we are. Who are we? What am I made of? What am I doing here? Where am I going?
Yeah.
What do I like? What do I not like? I don't feel like telling these people anymore about, I'll do it or whatever. From now on, you're going to start talking. You're going to start saying what you mean and mean what you say. The sovereign you.
And that's also closure happens.
Exactly.
Because people are just going to start saying what they mean and mean what they say.
That's exactly when I talk about truth disguised as accidents. These people, a lot of times they won't even know what motivated them to say what they say or do what they do or whatnot, to disclose truth. It's just, it can't stay hidden anymore. And so it's just going to explode out of them.
Yep.
So
yeah, cool.
The next one is most will wake up and say, what happened? But some of you came here to guide those who are stumbling around. You'll mostly forget your own worries and find strength to assist your brothers and sisters. It will be amazing how you'll be in the right place at the right time, and knowing what to do will flow to you.
Yeah, that goes back to the conversation we had earlier. I can already feel into, I'm getting early signals of what that, on a very small scale, what that can be like.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too, like changing, but I think I told you guys last time, it was a situation that happened where I normally would have flipped out and tried to fix it or tried it, but I took a step back and understood from a higher perspective what was going on and what I needed to do. I knew exactly what I needed to do or not do, in that moment. It was good.
But you had a choice, right?
Yeah.
You chose to go your flip out road.
Right.
You chose to take a step back. You paused and you decide, you saw that you had another choice.
Right.
You saw another perspective. That is the beginning of the multidimensional you.
I had so much more understanding about it as well, of what was going on and what I had done in the past that was not right, but I self-righteously thought it was and felt justified in my decisions in the past.
Yep.
It was very good lesson for me. It was an awesome wake up call.
And it's just
good.
And you're going to get more and more, and all of them are going to be eye-opening and revealing, not about other people, but about you.
Yeah.
To you.
Yeah.
It's not meant to show other people who you are. It's to show you who you are.
Exactly.
And you have the strength to build that pause in and to say, I've got more choices than my programming is letting me believe.
Yeah. Yeah. This whole week, I could, that what you just said right there, I mean, about you knowing you, it is about showing you who you are. Because this whole week I've had different things that were very interesting. And it showed me the path and the progress that I've made and what role I could be playing. In some, it's all about inside of yourself. The other
Always.
people in your sphere are actors and actresses that are playing out things that are inside yourself, which is very interesting.
Each of us have our bubble. And inside our bubble, we think that we control what's inside and outside that bubble, or at least what's inside that bubble, and what's allowed to come inside that bubble. The trick in all this of becoming sovereign is realizing it's not holding on to those things inside your bubble, but letting all of them go so that things can come and go freely, and that makes it more realistic for you to not be impeded by your bubble. Now you can go freely where you want to go. That's what a sovereign being does. But most of us we think our bubble is our control, that we control it or whatnot.
Yeah.
It's the control, but it's controlling you.
Yeah, it's controlling you.
It kept you where you're at. Now we're starting to question it and starting to say, no, my bubble's trying to push me this way. And I feel it pulling me. Then I say, whoa, wait a minute. And at that moment, you're getting another bubble and it's overlaid. So you're becoming multidimensional and realizing, hey, I've got more choices. I'm this one, I like this one. I'm going to choose this one. As soon as you do, your bubble morphs. And then you go to the next one and you do it again and it morphs. And before you know it, your bubble has gotten bigger. It has included more things. You're seeing things that you never saw before. Because you're choosing the sovereign you instead of the programmed you. You weren't a bad you programmed, but you were playing someone's role for their amusement, for their gain. Now we're stepping back and realizing, okay, enough of that. What else is out there? What else is going on? How can I shake this up a little bit? Some people say, they kind of run around and say, no, don't disturb that. Don't mess that up. No, don't. I got that just the way I want it. Those are the people that are going to want to go comfortably numb.
Yes.
The people that want eyes wide open and going, hey, let's just start messing some things up and see what happens.
Disruptors.
Because none of this stuff out here matters. So why not? Let's just kick the table a little bit and knock some things around. I'm not talking about hurting people.
Right, I know. I'm
just talking about shuffling some things around, looking at things from a different angle and pondering. Yeah. Do a lot of what if. Hey,
I love that.
What if I don't do my normal morning routine? What if I substitute it for something just, I don't know, I'll do one thing, whatever feels good, and then I'll see what I morph into from that and then go from there. Nothing planned.
Yep.
Hey, you're late for your meeting. Oh, sorry. You gonna fire me? Okay. See ya.
Day off. Woo.
Yeah. Roll with it.
Multiple days off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was that's interesting. This week when I didn't set my alarm clock, it was really interesting because I normally have my routine, set my alarm clock, and I woke up 10 minutes before the alarm was supposed to go off, and so it's like you will be guided. You can let go of some of the routines, and you'll still be guided for what you need to do.
Yeah, it's amazing how you got to realize. For us to actually say no to our programming and expect all our programming is just going to come off, no. Most of it has momentum.
Right.
So it's saying, I want to start challenging my programming. So even if you were to start doing things a little on the drastic side, you're going to find the momentum of your programming is still there. But in the questioning is what's going on inside you is more important than what happens out there. get the ball rolling inside you, and then the law of attraction will take care of the rest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The universe is saying, what? It doesn't understand not.
Correct.
I don't want that. No, it doesn't understand that. It's like, oh, you want that.
Yep.
Thinking about that thing, so it's coming to you.
It's like that. I need money. I'm broke. So it's yeah. If you think you need money all the time, you're never going to have enough.
Mm-hmm.
So it thinks you want to stay in need of money.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a point where you basically just step off with faith. Mm-hmm. You just trust your higher self is going to not do it for you, but show you what you need to see, so that you then ponder it and transmute it and place it in the proper place within you. Because that's your higher self's up here, we're down here, and what we're trying to do is move closer to our higher self. Most of us have been in the programming, and that's kept us separated. Mm-hmm. But as we start to question things, we start to trust our higher selves more than our programming. You can trust your higher self or your programming. Mm-hmm. When you start letting go of the programming and trusting your higher self, you chance more. You step out more, and you basically say, "Hey, what if I do this time?" Mm-hmm. Knowing that you're going to be okay. Nothing's going to, if something bad were to happen, that's because that was already going to happen anyway. Mm-hmm. It was going to happen whether you listen to your higher self or your programmed self.
Yeah.
It's not what happens out there that is really that important. It's we put importance on it, but really it's just a facet of something inside you.
It's your reaction. What happens out there. The suffering part, and there's multiple people that talk about the suffering part is inside of us. We don't have suffering unless we have a belief that it should be different than what it is. And I mean, Eckhart Tolle talks about that all the time. The true acceptance of this present moment is no suffering. Yeah, and so it's all of our thinking and emotions and this physical body and things that warp us.
Well, in the paradigm of duality, you can't have wealth without poverty.
Right.
So what we're trying to do is marry up those two and say, I don't need wealth. I don't want wealth. Because what I'm also saying is, I don't want poverty. I don't want anyone else to have poverty.
Right.
So inside me, I'm marrying those two up.
Yes.
I'm a duality devourer. When I see it, I'm just going to marry the two extremes up. But, it's to each his own. You've got to want to do it. You've got to see the need for it. Yep. So the last one is, out of darkness comes the light. Where you see darkness, shine your light. It is that simple. If you're going to do this with your eyes wide open, to me, you're opting to choose your higher self over your programmed self. And in so doing, you get all the advantages of that. What are those advantages? That's up to you. What do you believe in? What calls from your higher self? We know what the programmed self. It's all the status quo. It's all the stuff that we've had for who knows how many incarnations here. It's kind of like, well, been there, done that.
Yep.
So now, to me, if you're a starseed, and starseed is someone who's woke. If you're woke, you didn't come here to get woke to then run off and leave everyone behind.
Right. Yeah.
So if you're not going to run off and leave everyone behind, which you have the right to go do, then how are you really going to help people? especially if all this is just the matrix.
Mm-hmm.
It's shining light. And then they can either mimic it, mirror it, respond to it, or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to them, but their response should not, in no way affect you shining your light.
Yeah.
Yep.
What comes to me is when you think of shining your light, we are light, and sometimes it's no action. We've talked about this before. It's just being you and tending to your own frequency and keeping that frequency at a higher level. The brighter your light shines, the higher your frequency is, the more you can care for this vessel, this soul vessel, the brighter the light beams from you.
Yeah. You don't have to do anything.
Mm-mm.
That's the whole thing. You don't have to do it. When someone comes and asks you for something, you don't have to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, we feel compelled to do something. Well, you can keep doing that, and you're going to be saying, I choose my program self.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you think it's good, if you're doing it from that program self because you feel compelled, then you're choosing your program self over your higher self.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Higher self, choosing your higher self is going to be stepping out. It's going to be choosing the things that you haven't done before, looking at things the way you haven't looked at them before.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be considering options that you didn't think you had before, and knowing that they're there.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you're going to start flowing. You won't have to plan this or plan that. You'll just flow from, one great conversation into another.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what we're all leaning towards, right? That's what's causing all of this.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
Someone tried to probe me.
Hey, what you do on program time?
Off camera.
I didn't know we were going X-rated.
Oh, that was funny.
That was me saying no to her program self. Her program self.
Oh. Yeah, I was maybe when you were talking about that, it reminded me of something you said to me this week, which is no is an answer. So it's kind of we as healers, as light workers, as starseeds, whatever you want to call us, typically want to care and tend to others. And
yes,
so if we're not centered and listening to the high self, we'll lean toward doing something when that might not be the thing that we really should do, or it really isn't the best for that being. Sometimes it's just being there, and sometimes it's saying no, even though that's uncomfortable.
It's so uncomfortable. My program self is so uncomfortable saying no, but my sovereign self is like, no.
Exactly.
I've thought about this, and I'm more prone now. I'm not saying I'm ready to do it right in a second, but I'm leaning in this direction, more prone to do this. If someone were to come ask me for help, that my default answer is going to be no. And then they go, well, I'm never asking you for help again. And I'm saying, and that's why I'm not going to help you.
Right.
Because it wasn't you asking for help. You were giving me an ultimatum. And I just wanted to verify it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Tell me that a few years ago, and I've actually done that before, like when I felt like somebody was doing it, and I'd say no, and sure enough, and then there are some that if you say no and they go, okay, well, I understand, I'll go that. Then I'll
go, wait a minute.
Yeah. I think I might be able to do that, because you can tell.
Yes.
Doing it with a hook, or are they just, holding their hand out going like, can you help me? And okay, right. I'll go to somebody else.
And this is the time to do it. This is where you need to find out where you are and where each person who comes and asks for help. There's no, there's just because you say no doesn't mean you can't go back on it.
Right.
I mean, it's better to say no and go back on that than it is to say yes and go back on that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Out a lot about people by telling them no.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know. My whole circle has shrunk. Like, hey guys, my 2 friends. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe you should stop probing them.
I don't know if I'm ever going to stop that.
But this is a time, you may not realize it, but universe is going to use you to trigger other people.
Oh, yeah.
Other people are going to be used by universe to trigger you.
I'm going to get a jacket that says trigger warning on the back.
Yeah. So we're going to have no probes, trigger warning, and I like Karina's, which is go get forked, which is.
I said fork you. Fork it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So now, I mean, this attitude is what I was looking for. This is when I was putting this list together, I was saying, this is what I mean, this is kind of some heavy stuff, but it doesn't need to be heavy.
No.
It can pull out of you whatever you wish to allow to be pulled out. Some people are going to get triggered and they're just going to this and the other. And that's not a bad thing. Hopefully they'll see it for what it is and they'll say, I need to do something about that. But if universe allowed us to just keep kicking the can down the road, then who knows how long we would, as a species, stay, letting the mountain rule us.
Yeah, what keeps coming up, it did earlier, and it just did again when you said that, was it's like we're going to have a world with no shoulds.
Yeah.
You're not going to should do this or you should do that. It's really going to be do it or don't do it. Want this, don't want that. Be this level, not you're here and you should be there.
Or you could.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a world with no shoulds. It's amazing. It'll feel incredible.
Because you just go to that which resonates with you, that pulls you, and you don't go towards the things that don't pull you, even though people are pushing you to go that way.
Right.
Because there aren't going to be people to push you that way. They're going to be taking care of their own stuff, and they're not going to worry about whether you do this or don't do this. That's all been programming. That programming has made us keep each other in line with their bidding.
Yeah, group programming.
It is. Yeah. It is group programming. And that is what's coming down. That's the mountain. That's all part of the mountain. And that avalanche is, let's just say it's not getting ready to start. It's already started. We haven't picked up on it yet, but the rumblings are there.
So it's not raindrops we're dancing between, it's boulders.
Yeah,
Weeks ago when you said learn to dance between the raindrops, it's going to be dancing between the
some of these rocks. Some of these rocks are going to have your name on them. And are you going to try to catch them? Because, I mean,
I'm going to let them close off the old side of the tunnel so that I can't even get back through it. I'm going to run through the other side.
Yes, absolutely. And that's also another thing you were talking earlier about, the attachment to the mountain. I've heard a couple things about this 11:11 gateway and the new moon and full moon and so on has an element of grief to it, but it's an element of the letting go of, because we all have had a certain level of comfort, as weird as that may sound, in the old system because it's known, so the detaching from that, it's going to energetically, especially for the ones who have been asleep, it's going to energetically feel like that grief process. So, just recognizing that is,
Well, I would say between 11:11 and 12:12:12. And the 12/12/12 is December 12th, 2019. Add 2019 together, you get 12. So between 11/11, 12/12 is things are going to become obvious during that time.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everything is going to happen during that time. I'm going to say the things for many, many, many more people are going to become obvious.
Yeah.
It's already obvious to a lot of people. If you can step back and you're not so attached, you can see how this whole impeachment thing is a complete scam.
Mm-hmm.
How the people pointing the finger are the ones who are most guilty.
Mm-hmm.
It's
really interesting.
It's really obvious, but not everyone can see that because we're still in the game. A lot of people think they're still playing the game. It's during this time that people are actually starting to get their higher self is giving them the hook and saying, hey, that was last call. That's coming to an end. We need to start getting ready, get over here and get positioned for this train over here.
Yeah.
That train's headed for the ravine.
The track is out over there. Yeah.
So things are going to get, well, it depends on your perspective. Like I said, some people it's already easy to see, but between 11:11 and 12:12,
Well, and I was talking to somebody about that this week and about the chaos that they were feeling and seeing and things like that. And all I could feel inside of me was that excitement for the other side of the tunnel. It was like I could see it and hear, but I was not feeling it like she was feeling it, because my feeling of it was on the other side of the tunnel. So it was giving her some energy, to have some positivity without me doing anything, because it was just my energy field. But I had no chaos, I felt no chaos with it. It was very interesting. So we're at that channel for that as well. And so as we can go into this and we see it all falling around, is to remember that we're already feeling the other side of the tunnel when some people are not. But we can help them see it.
Well, that's a good point. One of the things I try to do when I'm having a good day, and nothing specific, but I have that, I don't know, I have that good, joyous feeling and whatnot. Now I'm more of the mind and heart to say, hey, I want to share this. And I just share it. I just let it out there. I just send it out. I don't have a particular target or anything. Right. It's just anyone who wants to tap into it. I'm not going to force my joy on anyone, but people have to choose joy. Right. That's kind of what we're going through right now. Eyes wide open or comfortably numb. There are some people you could lay out all the things that would give them joy, and they still wouldn't pick it because it would require them to change their status quo. And so universe says, okay, well, I don't like status quo, so we're going to make you, change is going on all around you. It's just you think you're in status quo. You think, you keep interpreting the signals into status quo, when in fact they've been changing all along.
So I'm looking at our card. What is that? I see some linkages there.
Flash dance.
It looks like she's standing on the moon, dancing in front of the sun. Yeah. So
she's a maniac.
She's a maniac. On
the floor.
And she says, yeah. So, yeah. It's interesting. Because energetically, that feels like the other side of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Yep. I didn't.
And yes, I'm through.
Yes.
Like I said, I didn't see specifically what was on the other side of the tunnel, but what the impression I got from it was it's so much more vibrant and clear and it felt like it was just drawing me closer, and it felt free. It didn't feel heavy, or it just felt so much lighter, and like no handcuffs, no bindings, nothing that will hold you down. But we have to get through the chasm of the tunnel. And that's you finding you. That's all what the tunnel is. It's you get in there what you take with you.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is you take with you, that's what you have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
All your attachments.
Mm-hmm. Which you have to let go of.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the related part to the cave piece, I felt, was that all of the attachments, letting go of it. Because until you let go of it, you won't emerge the other side of the tunnel fully.
Well, I mean, you even think about it, eventually parents have to let their kids go out of the nest,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's the same principle. You
Yep.
you have to let all the things that you hold close, let it go. If you love it completely, you'll let it be free and let it come to you when it wants to, not because you make it feel guilty or
Right.
you go like, well, I mean, it's the holidays. You should be. I mean, no ultimatums.
Mm-hmm.
It's be free. Go
Mm-hmm.
where
Yeah.
you want to.
Yeah.
When you want to be here, come be with me. Great. I know it's because you want to, not because I made you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. Cool. Good conversation.
Really good.
That's fun. Yeah. Anything else? It's feeling complete to me, but I want
No, that's
I feel good too. Feels complete.
Okay. Well, hold on. I'll stop the video. Bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye.